More American children suffer long-term life harm as a consequence of reading-related difficulties than as a consequence of everything else we keep track of. Most of our children are going through their entire educational experience less than proficient with reading, with the brain work of reading not transparent to the mind work of learning at the grade level they're in. What's at stake here isn't just whether kids learn to read in the purely mechanical sense, whether they develop the skill. It's not just that they can't get information from reading books and reading magazines and school assignments. There's something else going on here, and it's this that's the most significant part of it all.
I can't understand what it's saying.
Children who experience protracted difficulty with the challenge of learning to read blame themselves. They think there's something wrong with them. They feel ashamed of themselves. And children who feel ashamed of themselves, like all human beings, want to avoid the things that cause them to feel ashamed of themselves. So what happens? What happens to the life trajectory of a child when they develop an emotional aversion to the feeling of confusion, when their emotional intelligence wants to leave the scene, wants to escape from confusion because confusion causes them shame? Well, when a child's mind starts to develop avoidance behaviors, avoidance of confusion, then that avoidance of confusion can spill out into the confusion that's involved in learning about other things. And it's this core, deep structure of reading's influence, both at the cognitive, linguistic, automatic processing level and at the emotional avoidance level. That is why reading has such a powerful correlation, or reading difficulties have such a powerful correlation with all these social pathologies. The reason that there's a high coincidence between, or correspondence between people that are in prison and low literacy, or juvenile justice, children in the juvenile justice system and low literacy, is not just the absence of the ability to read. It's not just the absence of the mechanism. It's not just the absence of the tool of being able to read. It's what happened to them. It's what happened to their sense of themselves, their confidence in themselves, their trust in their ability to learn. It's what happens when a child develops mind shame. It's what happens when a child develops an automatic unconscious aversion to the feeling of confusion. Because an automatic aversion to the feeling of confusion decapitates learning. It disorders, disentrains, disconnects, disrupts, avoids learning.